Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host Dorinda, and together with my lovely co-host Amanda Hopper, we recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped in chronicle following. We will approach each episode with humor and a feminine look. Today we recap the episode DataLore. Hi everyone! Let me introduce you again to my co-host Amanda. Hello Amanda!
Well, hello!
How are you doing?
What's up, Paul? I'm doing pretty good. I'm in the house right now because right now, as some of you know, I'm from Canada, and when you live in the Maritimes, you get snowstorms, and we're having one today, and it's crazy. We had one yesterday too. But it wasn't as bad as it was today.
Okay. Well, today is the episode recap of DataLore.
DataLore, yes, I loved that episode. It's all about Data and his twin brother that they discover on the planet. Omicron Theta, I think what the name was?
Yeah, Omicron data system and...
Theta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Omicron Theta. There were his creator, Dr. Noonien Sung, I'm probably saying it wrong, sorry, but Sung went to go and hide onto the other planet where he created Data and Lore. And when the people found Data, he was sitting out in the open. Basically, they didn't know Lore existed until now, when they found him in the bunker, basically.
When the episode started, it was very funny as well, because first, of course, we had that intro of Picard telling them they have business in the Omicron data system, and it was also, of course, Data's home, and they are so curious how Data, his home and how he developed. So when Picard said, well, we're going to Omicron Theta, Data said, well, sir, I like to be alone. And Wesley was visiting him, and Data was practicing how to sneeze.
Oh, sneezing, that's something I know. Yeah, so, when he was doing it, it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
He's like, achoo! Well, when some people sneeze, they're not like that.
No, it was very, well, we will say fake. And, but I must say when Lore was on board and he was functional again, they repaired him to his full extension, and I didn't like Lore right away. His attitude, his performance, and also how he treated Data, and and once again, and I really pity fight with Wesley, because he already knew and he already saw that Data was Lore, and it wasn't Data because how he spoke.
Yeah, his pronunciations of certain words and the way he said different words and punctuation is a lot different compared to what Data does. Like between certain words like can and cannot.
Yeah, and poor Wesley again. None of the adults, they didn't listen to him. That was one thing I always hate about Wesley being in that position, because nobody, he is the one who always finds a solution to anything, and yes, they accept him, and yes, I forgot the word. That is so annoying. I will come up on later of it. So once again, he has to prove himself time after time, and even he had to convince his mother to go to Data's room and see if it is Data. And Data had, before all this started, he confined Dr. Crusher and trusted Dr. Crusher to show her where his on and off switch was.
Yeah. He's like, you won't tell anyone, will you? She's like, oh, no, I won't tell anyone. It's our little secret. And it's right there in the lower back spot of his spine. Or in between his shoulder blades. No, in between his shoulder blades is where the button is.
Wesley knew right away that it was Data who was lying on the ground, but we are a little bit too hasty, because before that they went down to Data's home planet, and the planet was, well, more or less that. There were no life form, and it was very darkish, grayish altogether. And well, when they were there, thanks to the forge, they found an entrance, and that was the entrance of the lab
Dr. Sung's lab. Dr. Noonien Sung.
It's very, I think it was very, in one way you would be curious, in another way it was scary and creepy, because they found Lore, so another android that was looking exactly like Data did.
Yeah, basically his twin.
Lore told him, and of course we don't know if this is really true or whatever, but Lore told him that Data was in first place that Dr. Nonyasun made, and after that, Data was the imperfectionist, and Lore was, well, like 100% human in that way. And I remember the first time I saw this episode ever, I was confused. And, well, I was confused how that theory, what Lore told Data, was. I mean, I think you do remember, there will be an episode, I can't remember in what season, but Data was going back to the planet to visit Dr. Nonyasun, and Lore came too. That, I think that was before Lore taking over the Borg.
That episode I think was called Brothers. They were lured to the planet by a chip in their head that activated on both of them. That was implanted by Dr. Sung. The episode was called Brothers, and that's where you meet Sung.
And that is also the episode that Data would be getting the emotion chip. And as always, Lore was very jealous of it and deactivate Data and put the emotion chip in him.
Which gave him super emotions, basically.
And of course, in that episode too, we got to know Huge. But I always found it strange why Lore would be the leader of the Borg, or independent Borg, if I can say it like that.
I have no clue how he became the leader. All I know is he must have charmed him or something with his smarts or something. I don't know.
Maybe he messed up with their programs, because I still have robot, of course, of Android.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Borg are part human, part robot, or android, or whatever. Yes.
So, guys, this is just a little bit of between, but did you guys have seen the first trailer of the second season of Picard?
Yep. I've seen the first and second one.
Well, it's gonna be big, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Because they're going back to 2024.
There's also confirmed that Picard will end after 3 seasons.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about that, Amanda?
Well, Patrick Stewart's getting up there in his age, I guess, and that's why I figured he doesn't want to do it after season 3 because it's probably getting hard for him. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's too, but in one way I have the feeling that he will go with a bang.
Oh, maybe he will go with a bang in the final season, though. I don't know, something. So they'll find an interesting way to end the series.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I think we have to wait. What that's gonna be about? You know, it reminds me a lot of, and that's what I always have thought. I would love to see more of the Troy Riker family. Yeah, especially about Kesra, because I like her.
That's her name.
Yeah.
She's like a little wild woman in the woods and stuff, playing around and stuff, doing what she does best. And then you got Riker and his pizza.
Yeah, but also, I mean, although they are very old acquaintances of Picard, they're still that dynamic. I think that's really, really nice to see, but also, you could see in the trailer how Q will appear. And I was thinking, uh-oh, that's the trouble. I'm very, very anxious to see what season 2 will bring.
Oh yeah, especially when you get Cube added to the mix.
And Guinan. Oh, did you see Guinan? Oh my god, nothing changed.
No. And what character is Brent playing in season 2?
I think that was the Arkans Nunyan Soon, who lived with the end.
I'm sure it's a member of the Sung family, but what one?
I think, yeah, he played so much of the Soon family, so...
I know.
And I was thinking
of members of the Sung family.
I was thinking about that when I was watching the episode, and Data and Laura were walking into the hallway, and I was thinking, geez, Brand Spawny, you did a lot of way of the same character.
He did. But did you notice when they were walking with their backs turned, you can tell one of them is not actually Brent at that point? You look at the hairline was slightly different. One of them had a little bit longer back hair on his head there. Like the back of his hair was a little bit longer.
I think that was supposed to be as a stunt double then.
Well, yeah, it was someone else. We all know that. But when the camera is forward on both their faces, you can tell Brent did different filming, like talking to the guy that was playing Data. Then they filmed him in the other outfit filming that, and then they spliced it. But when you look between them, you look at the turbo lift doors, they look a little thinner. Did you notice that?
So there was a moment that Lore as Data went to the bridge because he contacted that crystal entity. And
looks like a giant
yeah, and as always, Lore was up to no good, and there was this moment in Data's room that Lore put some champagne in the glasses, and he put something in Data's glass, like in how you drug somebody, And that was also what happened. And
yeah, he put some kind of a thing in his drink equivalent to a drug, but for something to knock out an android, basically.
yeah, so that kept me thinking as well. What was that? Because Data supposed to be immune for that because he doesn't have that extra stuff as Laura has.
I was thinking, what the heck did they use to knock Data out? And I was thinking, would it be some kind of liquid nanobot that would go in and disconnect things on him and mess him up, or is it
Perhaps,
something
yeah.
like a equivalent to a sleeping pill, but for androids? Even though we know androids don't need to sleep.
And that is so weird that you say that because, yeah, like you said, androids don't have that capacity to act like humans. And what the heck is Lord putting in Data's glass?
What was he putting in his glass? Some kind of weird thing. That's all I know.
Yeah, really. So Picard and Riker were very annoyed and just a little bit angry that Wesley had this behavior. Because Wesley already knew that isn't Data, that is Lore who is on the bridge. And, like I said, Wesley wasn't being heard. And I think Wesley and, of course, Geordi are Data's best friends. They know him so well.
Well, yeah, I find that they're the only two members of the ship most of the time that hang out with him a lot.
Yeah.
Like they go on the holodeck. Well, Wesley usually doesn't go on the holodeck with him. It's mostly like Geordi that goes in the holodeck with him, and maybe the odd person or two would go on there with him. But it's usually Geordi or Wesley that hangs out with Data the most on the ship.
Yeah, and I think that because they can connect with him on electoral base, but also like Data love to watch and study how Wesley and Geordi react as a human.
Yeah, Data's always watching Wesley and Geordi and what they're doing, and like he tries to learn from those two, basically.
Yeah. So
and I think when Lore was on the deck, he was like looking at the entity, and he's like, "Oh, exquisite, isn't it?" You can tell his lore was popping through, his non-Data side popping through, because he's trying to act like Data, but no, he let it slip that it was Lore, and Wesley caught on, but everyone else was like, "Oh no, Wesley, you're nuts."
Well, Wesley
they wouldn't believe him.
Wesley caught on him a lot earlier than that, because when Lore was on the bridge, he called, I think it was Picard. He didn't call him Captain, but he called him something else. And he did that also with Riker.
Oh, yeah, he did, because Data doesn't call people by their first name, I don't think.
Yeah.
He always says Captain Picard or Commander Riker.
Yeah, so that was wrong, and you could see after that, Riker and Picard was suspicious as well, and so Worf had to take some technical people to keep an eye on him, and that went totally wrong, and Worf ended up with him in a turbolift, and Lore beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, he did, and like before the other two officers could get in there, Lore, it's like, turbolift doors closed now, and they close real tight, and he says to Worf, "Now show me your Klingon warrior prowess," or something like that. And Worf goes to hit him, and he just stands there with this smug look on his face. He's like, "Nice try," and just side hits him with his arm, knocking Worf out in the turbo lift. And he heads to one of the shuttle bays.
Did you notice, by the way, this is the first time Picard tells Wesley to shut up. The famous words.
Shut up, Wesley. And I think Beverly looked at him and says, "Shut up, Wesley?"
And then she did it herself.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Shut up, Wesley."
But that was the moment that Wesley convinced Beverly to come with him to Data's room. And then they found out. They went to the
cargo deck it was. I meant to say cargo deck. I said shuttlecraft room. It's cargo deck.
Yeah, it was the cargo deck. And Laura was communicating with the entity. And really, Laura was so mean, especially against Wesley and Dr. Crusher. And you know, when Laura, or when Data at the end in that episode with the board, that Data disabled Laura, I was really thinking, oh, thank God, no more Laura, no more trouble with Data. And I think Data is one of the beloved characters in Star Trek. And
well, yeah, everyone loves Data. How can you not love that guy?
When he and that's the weird thing too. When Wesley transported Laura off the ship, where the hell did Laura go? Did the entity save him? Or another ship?
I'm wondering what happened. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering what happened. What the heck? Where did he go? Because they transported him off into nothingness. So either he hooked onto that plant life thing, or whatever you call it, crystal entity plant thing, or whatever it is, and hitched a ride with that without getting killed or whatever, or there must have been a passing ship that he probably got hooked onto. I don't know. I'm so confused by that.
Well, and I was also in that scene that Beverly was hiding, and she had a phaser, and that phaser didn't look correct. That was really like for me it was like a child's toy.
Yeah, some of the phasers in season 1 were a little odd. Like some of them were puny, and some got big, and some started looking a little kiddish looking. It's like some of them, they had a hard time figuring out which one to use, I guess, throughout the first season.
And that sounds, of course, logical, because it still was the beginning of a new series and more like a trendy series, not as TOS that everything would like oldies, but it was still oldies, because I remember I watched a documentary with what's his name, who played Dr. McCoy, and the Force Kelly is that, and Beverly Crusher.
Kelly.
Yeah. And Beverly Crusher. And they showed us behind the scene how everything works. And you really could see that the TOS was really oldish, and although it was still mechanical, still oldish in TNG, it was a little bit more modern. So Data tried to attack Lore, and Lore was defending himself with Wesley in his range, and also Dr. Crusher. And he mocked Dr. Crusher and said, well, let me be human and I will let you go. And she was running. But then again, he shot her. Not deadly, but he wounded her.
Yeah, he got her in the upper arm there with the phaser, and it burnt part of her shirts and her jacket.
And what for me also was noticeable is that her lab coat was from a very good quality material. Normally she has a um, if I can say it like that, cheaper material. This was really of good quality.
Maybe it's either cotton or nylon. I'm not sure what it would have been, but could have been one of the two fabrics. I don't remember which.
Well, we're at the end of this episode. Do you still want to add something, Amanda?
Well, I know I liked the episode quite a bit, and Laura was a bit of a schemer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one part of the episode where Laura said, when Laura was pointing the weapon at them, he's like, "Are you prepared to? What was it? Are you prepared to meet your death, little man?" I think is what he said to Wesley.
Yeah.
Oh, what a jerk! Laura has an attitude.
Yeah, but you know that reminds me of Harry Mudd. Harry Mudd is also a character that I can shoot right away. Although I must say, the short track with him was brilliant. That was a brilliant one.
Oh, the eye twitch. He had that eye twitch too.
Data, yeah.
Yeah, Laura had it first, then he got rid of it, and then he gave it to Data.
Yeah.
And Picard said to him, "Get rid of that darn eye twitch, would you? And then get back into uniform."
Mm.
Yeah, he told him that in the cargo bay when Picard and Riker and them showed up.
Also very late, but okay. It's once again Wesley who has the confidence to step out and solve the problem.
Yeah, basically Wesley knew that Data wasn't Data, but was Lore.
But okay, we gonna hear more from Lore in the future. We now going to rate this episode. Amanda, your rating.
Oh God, out of 10. Oh jeez, I actually really love this episode because you get to meet Lore and all the crazy shenanigans. Out of all the episodes we've done so far, I think that I could say this one's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Because I love this episode a lot.
I give it a 8. And that's just because I think there are better episodes.
And oh yeah, there is, but still, for season 1 so far, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I like this one too. So the only one thing that still remains is the question, and it was my turn to think of a question. So my question for you guys is, if you were an android, would you more be like Data and be not perfect? Or would you be like Lore and be perfect and, well, cause mayhem in the galaxy with being an humanoid android? I'm curious what you guys think about that. Amanda, what would you answer?
Well, I'd say I'd be Data because I'm kind of like him already. I'm not perfect. I'm not like Lore.
Okay, that would be interesting to have a discussion on that. About that. Yeah, once again, thank you guys for listening. And we will see you by the next recap of the TNG saga. And
Angel 1.
Yeah, Angel 1 is the next one. So, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. And if you're in an area where it's snowy, stay inside and stay warm.
Dear listeners, thank you for listening and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In the next episode we will recap the episode Angel 1. Girls Talking Track is also to listen, follow and subscribe on Anchor, Google Podcast, Spotify, the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. If you'd like to comment on the episode or talk with us about the Star Trek episode we just recapped, you can reach out on the Facebook group and the YouTube channel of Girls Talking Trek. We will see you in 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.